Okay, so we've looked at the pay later and now the insurtech stack. For banks to build the API capability is another challenge, and I'm very pleased now to be able to invite Abhijit Dey, who's Deputy VP and Product Head of API Banking at Access Bank, which has been working very strongly on this area. Welcome, Abhijit.
Hi. Thanks, John. Hi, everyone.
Okay, so we'll just check that your screen is sharing. Can you put it in full screen mode, please?
Yeah. My screen is visible, John.
Yes. Can you put it in presentation mode, please?
Uh,
Yeah.
is it good?
It's not yet in presentation mode.
Now?
Not yet. Did you have it before?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe try the top menu again. I think it's a matter of the clicking. Yeah. Can you just try sharing again, please?
Share screen, right?
Well, you're going to share your deck. I think you have a couple of options there. But yes, share your screen.
Is it any good?
Uh, let's see. Can you put it in presentation mode now?
I'm using a little older version.
Can you put it in presentation mode and then share it? Well, you may need to stop sharing and then put it in presentation mode and then share it.
Now?
Okay, over to you.
Yep. Yeah. John, shall I start?
Yes, go ahead. Over to you.
Okay. Hey, hi. Hi, everyone. Myself, Abhijit, and I'm a bit excited to present few slides and few information on how to build your API banking capability, right? And I'm a bit thankful with John Baptist and all who has invited me in this forum, and where I'm actually co-sharing with my other folks here, right? Other fellow partners here. So on API banking, right, as we all know, that API banking initiative ensures the banks provide secure and controlled access to customers' financial data and other banking and financial services to third-party environment, right? This this actually allows our fintech and other partnerships to build their feature-rich offerings, right, across different products. Uh, I'll just go ahead with the key components which we consider for API banking. One is that API discovery, right? So API discovery is the thing from where you need to start. See, normally in banks there are multiple APIs, right? I mean, in India and even in our global peers, right? We have, I mean, they must be having thousands of API, but all these APIs are built as per the requirement, right? As and when they require to build this API, they have built it, and that is the same practice we followed out here. But at the same time, there are many such APIs available in our middle layer or in our different product processor applications, which can be reused for different use cases, or rather for new use cases, right? For example, if we have a KYC based authentication API, right? Now These authentication APIs we can use in multiple product. Through this authentication based API, we can create multiple onboarding journeys, right? So this discovery of API is very important, right? And having said that, the start of your API banking capability should be the API discovery, right? Wherein your middle layer and other processor application should have enough API catalog, and from that catalog there should be some virtualized layer through which we can test the API, we can build the new use cases, right? The next part is the productization. See, API is merely not an engineering tool, right? Or it is not even an endpoint. API is a product. It's the capability which you have in your bank, or rather, which you have in your organization, through which you can actually publish your new product, right? So, in today's product management, whenever you are creating some digital product, the API is most important thing, right? And in different forums, in different articles about API banking, this is the common phrase that API is the new currency in the digital economy, right? So, on the same philosophy, with your API, don't publish API endpoint or API URL just, right? You build a product, you productize your API, you build a journey around your API, right? And then you publish. And when we are saying that publish API or productize API, you actually need to create a proper documentation, proper use case, proper flowchart. People should know that what this API for, right? Now this showcase, this capability, where you need to show. I mean, there should be a showcase, right? There should be a platform wherein you can host your APIs, where you can say that, hey, I have got this API, I have got this API product, come and test my APIs, right? So for that, we need a developer portal. On that developer portal, it makes an easy onboarding, right? So whenever you are creating a developer portal, we need to have a proper onboarding journey. It should be bit interactive. It should have all the analytical and behavior analysis of your APIs, right? There should be a proper dashboard through which your users should know that these are the use cases, these are the benefits of these APIs, and the documentation, right? So your entire capability, I mean, you may have thousands of API, you may have uh, hundreds of open API stacks, but all these you need to showcase in your developer portal, and that is the you know it's a visual depiction of your API capability. So while you are building your developer portal, you should be very cognitive of the fact that whatever you have built, it should come in a proper way in your developer portal. Then the fourth pillar of component, right, of API banking key components is the ecosystem. See, you have got your API, you have discovered whatever the use cases you have. Based on the use cases, you have created your APIs, then you have productized it. Now you have hosted and published it in your developer portal. You have a very good onboarding journey. But if you don't have a marketplace like of kind of ecosystem, right? If you don't have a proper API adaptability and monetization policy, if you can't allure your customer or your target audience with your uh, offerings, right? If you can't bolster your API offerings with a extensive product suites, then there is no point of building such capability, right? So in order to do that, you need to create an ecosystem. That ecosystem should be it should have a marketplace capability where people can subscribe it for. There should be enough monetization logic and all be built, and this ecosystem also you can build around your developer portal, right? And that is how the Indian banks are working today, and even in our global benchmark we have seen that is a standard policy, right? Now, going to the technology component, right, which is the key shift. I mean, API is a technical product, and when we are talking about the technical product, this should have few technology component, right? The first is a discovery and externalization. This we already have discussed in the first slide, that you may have thousands of API, but you have to reimagine your existing APIs. You have to rebuild new journey. You need to rebuild your use cases, right? Now, mapping of API, mapping the fields of API, these all are the kind of BAU thing, right? Business as usual thing in our day-to-day API banking activities, but these are very crucial. Without this BAU, we cannot move ahead, right? At the same time, there should be a proper standard, there should be a proper version of your APIs, right? Because APIs may get changed, right? The fields, the parameters, the definitions, it may get changed from use case to use case, right? But your version should be a proper standard one, right? Also, in what we have seen in large organization, right, there are multiple product processor application. Every application has their own API definition, they have their own API signature, right? But when you are publishing these APIs for your third party, right, for them you should have one standard documentation, you should have one standard API signature or definition, as well as the API handshaking policy. Because ultimately whatever you are building it for your consumers, right? And if your consumers are not having that comfort to call your API, then the entire program or entire initiative may get jeopardized, right? So that's why that versioning and standardization is very important, which we have seen lately it's coming up, right? And at the same time, the portfolio creation. So whenever we are talking about product, then there should be a business. If there is a business, then there should be a portfolio. So in your portfolio, it's not only that the number will work, right? I mean, you may have thousands or hundred of open APIs, but it should have a relevant use case. Just because you got some API, or just because you have seen someone has hosted some API, that's why you are also hosting the same API. It doesn't work. You should have an enough use case, and based on that use case, your API portfolio should be created, right? Then coming to that API management and policy manager, right? In API management, here the actual development happen. If in the first step we have discovered and we have externalized it, then here on this management and policy manager, we do that automation, right? We build the orchestration. So there are multiple APIs, as we already mentioned, that where that authentication, or there are multiple offerings API through which we can actually uh, create the orchestration, right? Again, I mean, having more number of API doesn't make that, I mean, doesn't mean that you are good in with your API capability. The number of use cases you are covering, the number of business cases you are covering, is the key shift here, right? So to reach to that goal, right, to reach to that key shift, first thing is that lesser number of APIs, maximum number of use cases to be covered. Lesser number of API means your API consumers, they have to be, they don't have to call the APIs multiple times. That one integration that can cover multiple use cases for him, right? And there's a API policy manager, right? Now this API policy manager, this developer portal, all can be done via some API gateway product suite, which in the likes of like IBM API Connect, Google APG, MuleSoft, they all are having, right? So this API gateway, dev portal, your policy manager, these all come with a common package, and it should be all in sync, and it should be in one single environment, so that that migration, so that the communication between these applications will be seamless. Then coming back to the API governance, which in my opinion is the most important thing. See, we all know we have APIs, we all know that these are the use cases, but there should be a proper governance and framework. Because API is, once you have extended one API to your third party environment, right, or to your third party consumer, it means you are allowing that fintech or that entity to access few data, right, or access few service of yours. So you should be very much confident that when I'm giving an API, whatever the result is, that is secure, and it should have a proper consent from my customer, right? So governance actually say that which all APIs you can give, which all data you can cover, what is the SLA, what is the standard framework, what is the risk categorization of this API, right? Based on the data, based on the functionality, we can categorize our APIs into high, mid, and low, right? High can be the financial transaction APIs, mid can be the offering and loan application APIs, and low can be the you know public, I mean, APIs which actually throws back the public informations, right? Then going back to the design and documentation. In design and documentation, again, I mean, if API is a product, then the visual depiction is a depot and the documentation. And nowadays, those FSD kind of document, it doesn't work. We all know, right? We all have moved to Swagger, RML. Um, there should be a ready to deploy core through which the instant handshaking will happen. With Swagger, I mean with Swagger.io or with Postman collection, we can actually visualize the API structures, right? We can actually figure out that which all fields are mandatory and not. So this actually helps your developer community, right? This actually helps your developer community to grow. And the more your developer community is keen about your API capability, the more your users will be, right? Then the last and probably the most critical one on developing any API or externalizing any API is the security, right? Your encryption algorithm, the certificate handshaking, token validation, all should be in place, right? Because token or the encryption is the thing which secure your API capabilities, and obviously your key management, because nowadays all these dynamic keys, or sometimes we are also working on BYOK, right? So bring your own key. This kind of an algorithmic implementation of key management is required, and that is the future right now. Having said that, I'm just moving to the key enablers, right? Where you already mentioned about the standardized framework, where standard documentation, standard API definition, because as of now, what we have seen, we all are publishing APIs, but there is no standard. So if one consumer is coming for bank A, and in bank A, the API definition for a particular API is 1, 2, 3, 4, in other banks probably it is 5, 6, 7, 8. So there is no uniformity. So probably we can have a common standard of our open APIs. This will be much easier for the consumers to consume. Also for banks who are producing this API, this will take lesser time for them to see the number, right? Your GTM will be much quicker. Then coming to the stability, talking about the stability, most of the time we have seen that the APIs are working fine, but my backend application is not working. Maybe some middle layer failure is there, maybe some timeout happening. So there should be a common SLA between all the applications, right? In normal banking ecosystem, there are thousands of applications we are dealing with, right? When we are calling one API, so that all those applications should have a common SLA, and the API response time should be in tandem with that SLA, right? That stability is required, and this stability we need in both the staging environment, in the dev environment, also in our production environment, right? Then the throttle mechanism, that in throttle mechanism, when we see, I mean, there is an agreed SLA between the consumer and the producer, but most of the time we have seen that the TPS and all are getting increased. So the throttle mechanism should actually cover this aspect in our API gateway, and also the DDoS attack and all can be protected from this. Then the load balancing and error management and exception handling is also important when you are creating a stable ecosystem. And the most important thing, I mean, probably I've already covered, that whenever you are building an API capability, your prod and UAT environment should be in tandem with, right? That my prod is working, my staging and UAT is not in sync to that. That cannot happen, because we need to get the confidence of the API consumer when he is doing that integration, when he has deployed lots of his effort on it, right? Then the scalability, where the change management, a steady architecture are required. Then the tracking and metering, that is the most critical when your customer has gone live, because the behavior analysis of the API calls, the performance optimization, these all are required. Because out of this, I mean, through this behavior analysis, you can actually figure out that which all APIs are hot and which all are not being used, right? And based on that tracking analytics, you can create new offerings for your customer, right? Also in API hardening and consent management, in data privacy, right? Data privacy, again, it's very crucial when you are sharing your capabilities, when you are sharing your information and services. So There may be some field in your existing API which you cannot share, but for that you need not to develop a new API, right? You can mask those fields, you can harden those fields in the through the policy manager, and that's a bit easier, and that actually save time for the developers. And again, your GTM is very quick in that case. And the monetization, which I've already covered, but that marketplace experience, your analytics, your onboarding of new to bank consumer, right, through your API capabilities are the key. And that's how the business grows via API banking capabilities. Now I'll cover this slide for developer portal, where we actually showcase our open API products, right? When we talk about open API products are the products which we have built for our third party consumer, and it actually give a native experience, right? It's a presentation layer. Basically, all the internal APIs are getting externalized here with bit more new orchestration, with bit more new journey, but we are creating a new product suite out of it, right? And that open API and those open API products been depicted via the documentation, right? And documentation doesn't mean that FSDs only. It should be an interactive documentation like Swagger or RML file through which we can actually visualize the journey, we can visualize the workflow, right? And also the seamless onboarding is very much required. You have built your capabilities, you have published your capabilities, you have reached out to many folks, but when they're trying to consume it, if you are taking some time to give that access, if you're taking some time to onboard him, that's actually painful for your consumer. They cannot wait in this competitive market, right? And the support and analytics I have already covered support. But I personally believe if API is a technical product, the support should be in a technical way, right? And probably the more digital way through some AI enabled chatbot system, or probably some self onboarding forum where the developer community will cover their uh, problem statements and all, right? Now the last slide, where I'll 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 try to touch upon a uh, problem statement which we have seen in banking APIs, right? And this is completely my personal experience and my personal view. And the solution also I'm trying to provide here is is my own view, and it has nothing to do with my current organization. So whenever we have published our API, publishing API is one challenge, but when you have published it, and when you see that consumer is he's struggling to get that access, or he's struggling to consume those API to build the journey at his ecosystem, it's really painful, right? So that's why on top of our API gateway, if we can have some open API kind of switch that actually transform the entire API capabilities, right? It can actually transform the complexity of this entire tech solution, where that key management, where that whitelisting and all will be done, right? At the same time, the payload will be logged, and there should be a verification service here, right? And the hash key verification. So all this orchestration, if we can build on open API switch, right? So through this switch, we can reach to multiple API consumer. API consumer need not to be bit technical or thoroughly technical to consume these API. Their GTM will be very, go to market will be very quick. At the same time, the orchestration layer, verification layer, everything will be within the bank can secure their API through this orchestration. But the versioning, documentation, sample code, the Docker like support, the image layers, right? Imaging of all these APIs will be at open APIs, which through which we can actually onboard them, right? So normally in the SSL handshaking, the encryption, that takes time from API consumers end, right? As we said, that there is no standard uh, process, or there is no standard API definition we are following across the banks. So each and every bank is having their own set of encryption algorithm, or token binding or SSL authentication, that actually creates a lot of effort. It needs lots of effort from the consumer end. But if we have an open API switch, right, it's a bit easy. Corporate is coming or partners is coming, they're consuming these Docker like services from the open API switch, and in the back end that switch is authenticating everything via API gateway. So this way we can save lots of time, and this will actually fast forward the entire API integration. It actually give you a quick GTM, and probably the numbers and tracking will be a bit easier. And since we have a transformation service, we have a login service, everything will get logged at the switch. Also, it will get logged at the gateway, right?
Yeah. So,
And then
Abhijit, this is a great comprehensive view of the capability, and I'm impressed. And I can also see from Access Bank's own API developer portal, you offer APIs for savings accounts, auto loans, beneficiary management, and debit card APIs, corporate payouts. So
yes,
the type of partners that you bring on, merchant API based payment, I take it. So what to leave the audience with a picture of where they may be able to partner with you, where should they go to learn more about how they can apply the infrastructure and leverage the infrastructure that Access Bank has built in their own business.
so you can visit our API developer portal, right?
Uh-huh.
apiportal.accessbank.com,
Mhm.
and it's self onboarding and self registration portal, and there is no approval needed, right? You can self onboard yourself. You can play around our APIs. There is a sandbox environment, right? Whatever I have covered in my previous slides, all the capabilities are there as of now, right?
Mm.
There are multiple product suite,
Mm.
and again, API is not an engineering tool, so we visualize API as a product. That's why we have productized all these APIs, right?
Mhm.
So you can go to the portal, you can see the documentation. This open API switch in the current slide, it's the idea, it's a new concept
Mhm.
that I have brought up here. But apart from this, whatever the capabilities we're talking about, these all are there in our developer portal.
Mhm. Okay. Well, thanks very much, Abhijit, for sharing that. Most insightful. Thanks very much.
Thank you.